All right, welcome back. I am Lance Ruby, and in this lesson, I'm so excited, we are going to be talking about goal setting and how we can set goals for ourselves on the instrument and what we want to do with music in general. So we are going to talk about a couple different strategies on how to make goals, and this lesson is really crucial to understand for our learning and our exploration categories of our practice. So in my experience, I believe that results are the best motivator. If we are seeing results, if we're seeing that we're getting better at the guitar, we will be more motivated to practice. So the easiest way to see results is to set achievable goals. Now, achievable does not mean easy, right? We need goals that we can achieve, but that we're not sort of handing to ourselves. So I think the best way to set achievable goals for ourselves is to start with the big idea. Start with the big dream and work backwards. So if your dream is to be a singer-songwriter, then your ultimate goal on the guitar is to be able to accompany yourself on the guitar, right? Well, that is the big goal, and then we can work down from there. Say your goal is to be a rock guitar player. So your big goal is, I want to be a rock guitar player. Now, in the example I'm going to use, I have decided to use jazz guitarist. Our ultimate goal is to be a jazz guitarist. Now, we have to think, what is goals that could lead us to become a jazz guitar player? So let's go down the list. So maybe you have multiple categories here, but the one that I'm going to stick with is that we need to have a repertoire of jazz standards. That would be the next one down from that. Getting a repertoire of jazz standards takes a long time. They're hard songs. So maybe the next goal down from that should be learn 10 jazz standards. That's an achievable goal. And then below that, maybe our smaller goal is learn 5 jazz standards. So as you can see, we're starting with the biggest goal, and we're trying to reverse engineer to get an achievable goal that we could get done in today's practice, right? All right, learning 5 jazz standards is doable, but what would be a smaller goal? So maybe learning a specific jazz standard. So autumn leaves. So the next one down on the list would be learn autumn leaves. Okay, and then we keep getting smaller and smaller. Okay, so learn the B section of autumn leaves would be the next goal on the list. And then the next goal after that would be learn the A section. Okay, so below that, what do we need to achieve the goals thus far? Well, we need to know some chord voicings. So maybe the next goal is learn the Freddie Green voicings, which, if you haven't heard what that is, they're just simple jazz voicings. We learn the Freddie Green voicings for autumn leaves. And then to understand the Freddie Green chords, we need to know the notes on the 6th and 5th string. So if we look at our list, our ultimate goal is at the top. We want to become a jazz guitarist. And our first goal, our achievable goal, is to learn the notes on the 5th and 6th string. So as you can see, we can break down any large goal you have into these smaller categories. This is the picking off bricks metaphor that I talked about in the first lesson, right? If we just think about becoming a jazz guitarist, there are so many things that we need to master to do that. But if we break it down like this, first we learn the notes on the 5th and 6th string. Then we're going to learn the Freddie Green chords, the chord voicings to play the song. Then we're going to learn the A section, right? These are all very achievable. The next thing, we're going to learn the B section. Then we're going to put it together and learn how to play autumn leaves. And then we're going to learn 4 more standards with those chord voicings. And then we're going to learn 10 standards. And then after we've learned 10 standards, we have a pretty good repertoire of jazz songs. So no matter what your goal is, we're using jazz guitarists, but no matter what your goal is, you can do this. You can reverse engineer your goals to find achievable goals. Now, if you look at this, unfortunately, it sort of looks like a reverse triangle, right? We have the biggest goal here, and then we have our achievable goal down here. Now, yes, this looks right on paper, but actually, in practice, it becomes the opposite. The more we dive into something, the more we will realize what we need to work on, right? If you want to be a blues guitar player, you'll find new blues guitar players the more you dive into that music. And that is totally okay. But like I said before, make sure that it's things you love, right? Make sure you're inspired by the things you're working on. And also make sure that you're picking off one brick at a time, right? Don't overwhelm yourself. You don't need to be a blues guitar player tomorrow, right? You need to learn this lick today, right? These are the appropriate ways to think about practice. Make sure you are achieving something in every practice, even if it's not a big thing. Maybe you're working on something and you jumped up a few BPM, right? That's a goal. That's an achievable goal. And the only way that we're going to see success with these goals is by setting them, writing them out, having a document on your computer, having a whiteboard in your practice area. All of these things are great. What are you achieving today? What are you achieving this week? What are you achieving in the next 2 weeks? What are you achieving in this month? This is a great way to sort of parcel out and be able to see the lineage of your goals, right? Like the example I used started with something very basic, the notes on the 5th and 6th string, and it ended with knowing 10 jazz standards. Now, those things might seem worlds apart, but really, they lead right into each other. If we go slow and we break it down this small, we can have achievable goals that we achieve in every practice session. All right, I hope you enjoyed that lesson, and in the next lesson, we are taking a deep dive on bad practice versus good practice. I'll see you there.